Tech Tales 14, where I review time slips that I've entered for actual clients for real billable work. This is for Thursday, April 22nd, and this is an attorney that I've spoken about before. He's had some scammer issues. So I had 3 time slips on this date for him. I'm just going to do the 2 that were earlier part of the day. 11:27 to 11:37 in the morning, so that's 10 minutes. His front office assistant called me, said his computer has infection messages, so I connected remotely to it, and sure enough, it had multiple of those, your computer is infected, call such and such, and there was audio sound coming through. There were multiples of them, so I went to Task Manager, ended task, and boom, they're gone. So 10 minutes, and there's really nothing else. What happens is you click on something in a browser that's been compromised, and it pops up these messages. Or it could be residual from his prior scammer incident, but I don't think so. And in the next time slips, you'll see why I don't think so. So then at 5:52 p.m. through 6:12 that same evening, connected remote to his computer after the workday was over to examine R's computer relative to scammer infection warnings received earlier today, increased security settings in Google Chrome, and began ESET online scan. So that was 20 minutes. And then while that, oh no, this is a separate time slip. My time slips got a little bit jumbled out of order. So this was earlier in the day, 7:50 a.m. to 12:39 p.m. at the chiropractor's office. I worked with the software technicians to get the new software installed on the new server and migrate the data from the old server to new. Now, I didn't have a whole lot to do with that myself. All I had to do is get them connected remotely to the old server and the new server, and they pretty much did all of that work. While they were doing that work, I utilized that time to do some configuration on Tracy's new computer. I didn't get to do a whole lot with that because once they finished the migration of the data and the new software, then they called me back, telling me they were done. Then I had to go around to all the other computers in the office and reconfigure them so that they would talk to the new server for that software. Now, the old server still has some data storage not related to the chiropractic practice management software. So both servers are still actually kind of functional. I just did the transition to the new server for the workstations in regards to the chiropractic management software. So I'm reading through that time slip now to be sure I completed everything. For Tracy's computer, I set up her new computer in the kitchen area, which I previously mentioned is where I installed the new server or connected it. And that is where the home for the new server will be. That's where all their computer, centralized computer equipment is, their internet connection and their switch and their phone, their IP phone system. So I did part of the in-office configuration work on Tracy's computer there. And that's the end of that one. And then in the afternoon, 2:47 p.m. to 3 p.m. for the remote staff person who connects to do transcription proofreading, basically. The chiropractor in this office is now using Dragon Naturally Speaking, has been for several years, to dictate his reports. And it was amazing how well Dragon Naturally Speaking handles all of those strange words about, well, you don't know, but all these strange medical words that I have no hope of pronouncing. And it was not a medical edition of Dragon Naturally Speaking. It, within its basic package, knew all of these complex words that a chiropractor uses. So I connected to her home computer and reconfigured Log Me In to connect to the old server. I mentioned in a previous time slip, I believe, that the laptop that she used to be connecting to is not sufficient, not adequate for the new version of the chiropractic management software. So I've got her connecting to the old server, and she launches the new chiropractic software on the old server, which is talking to the new server. Yeah, I know, it's going to give you a headache, isn't it? Then let's see, how are we doing on, okay, well, let's go ahead and get the last one for the attorney. And I refer to him as R, because that's the initial of his name. 9:05 p.m. to 10:04 p.m. The ESET online scan had completed. No viruses or malware detected. So his computer had brought up one of those "you are infected" screens, call this number. It was more than one, and it was doing an audio readout. Those don't come from malware. They come from compromised websites. And I think what's happening is he goes to, it could be as simple as msn.com or Yahoo. I have seen those various different stories that they give you these really intriguing thumbnails to click on, that on occasion the bad guys can get in there and compromise something. Now, even with blog sites, for all I know, he may have gone to some legal research or legal research blog where it's not highly secured, and the bad guys can get onto that web page. And typically what they do, this is my deduction based upon my experiences, is they will temporarily compromise one of the stories that are on that blog site, so that when somebody clicks on it, it takes them to these infection messages. Now, the reason why I say this is my deduction from my experience is because I have had clients who told me, I clicked on this over here and this happened. And then I go to my computer or some other computer, put in the same URL, and get that same display that they clicked on and click on it, and I got the same infection notice on a different computer. Now, I've only had that happen once. And I have had on the infected computer where I end task on the infection, then go back to the page that they clicked on, click on that same thing, and it again shows up the same infection warning notices. But then an hour later, it doesn't. And that's where I say they temporarily compromise it. Now, it could be that the website owner or the ISP that's involved discovers the problem and they fix it. Or it could be that the bad guys turn that off because they've got enough calls coming in now. I think they can just dial it like a volume control. When they need some calls coming in, they can go compromise one of these sites that they know has weak security. It's advantageous to them to turn it off as soon as they have enough phone calls coming in, because by turning it off, maybe that website host is not going to discover the problem and patch it. So I think that is one of the things that is happening with these, when these messages pop up and say, you are infected, call this number, or IRS is after you, or there's a warrant for your arrest, or whatever these scary messages they pop up. They're just trying to get you to call the phone number. That's all they care about. And when you call them, they'll ask what happened. What did you see on your computer? And you describe it to them. Now they know which scam to run with you. Because if you were to call them because you got this message about a refund for Amazon, let's say, because that's a really big thing, and they start running a scam on you about an infection notice from Microsoft and saying they're Microsoft, but you got an Amazon thing, you're calling this phone number, it's supposed to be Amazon. Now, they want you to tell them, what did you see on the screen? So now they know what scam to run on you. So anyway, the bottom line is no detections. And you know what? That was almost an hour. Well, it was 59 minutes. So the ESET online scan completed. No viruses or malware detected. Let's see. I disabled sync settings. Now, this is a crazy thing in this office. They all share the same email address and they share the same Google account. Which means if there's an extension on one computer, that extension is on all the computers. If I remove an extension from ours computer, it removes it from all the other computers. So, but his computer is the only one that's getting these pop-ups, and he's got a long history of it. And I think it has to be his behavior, what he's clicking on. So then let's see, what else did I do? Disabled sync settings so that his computer would not synchronize with the other computers that had the same Google account. Wait a minute. It wasn't Google. It was Mozilla Firefox that was syncing. Yeah, because they all use Mozilla Firefox with that same email account. And this is where I said earlier that they couldn't tell me what the password was for a certain email address. So I went into the password list for the browser. Pretty sure I'm saying right, it was Mozilla Firefox. No, I'm sorry, my time slip says it was Google Chrome. Went into Google Chrome, remembered passwords, and found the password for this email account. All I had to do was type in the login password, the Windows login password that's used on this computer. Very dangerous to let Google Chrome or any other browser remember your passwords unless you understand and know what does it take for someone to walk up to your computer, go into the settings of your browser, click on passwords, and access those passwords. In order to display the passwords, they're going to have to type in the login password for your computer. In a lot of offices, those are commonly known around the office. In big offices, that's a huge no-no. In small offices, I'm sorry for those of you who object to this, it is the reality. And it is the reality that they know each other's passwords for their local Windows login. Now, the reason why it's okay is because they don't have secrets from each other, or the secrets that they have are tucked away some other way. The files that they share on their server or whatever method they use, it's all pretty much open in small offices. For those of you who haven't worked with small offices, you just don't know that. So take a chill pill. Don't get upset. I've seen this office after office after office. When they come on board as a client with me, I find that's the case. It's just prominent. They don't have secure passwords in small offices. Frankly, it's pointless because these are not real servers that have Active Directory and restricted areas and all. These are commonly peer-to-peer servers. It's a different environment if you're used to the corporate environment. So what else did I have on there? So I found the password that I needed. Now, this computer was logging in with a Microsoft account. I don't want that. I want it logging in with a local account. So because I now have that password, I was able to switch it from a Microsoft account log into a local account login. Then I uninstalled Instant House Call because it was installed from somewhere in the past or one of the scammers. I don't use Instant House Call with this office. I also uninstalled iTunes and AnyTrans and Apple application support, Apple mobile device support, Apple software update, Bonjour, HP LaserJet 300-400 Help Learn Center. Oh, it was blocked from uninstalling. That was weird. It said I couldn't uninstall that. It was blocked from uninstalling. So I'm concerned about that. Something not working right. Apple software update and iCloud failed to uninstall properly. Disabled startup tab items for Adobe Collaboration Synchronizer and Delayed Launcher and iCloud services, Logitech Download Assistant, and restarted the computer. Adjusted performance options for best performance, performed disk cleanup, disabled contents indexing for C drive, adjusted privacy settings to minimal. So I did quite a range of things there. And the Google Chrome security that I increased looks to me like it can help block those types of compromised items that he's clicking on, that I think he's clicking on. So that was back April 22nd. He hasn't had any calls to me since then of troubles. I have spoken with him once since then, and he told me it seemed to be running faster. Now, that was the very next day, so he hadn't had very much time on it yet. I think with uninstalling all that extra stuff that I don't think he uses, we're going to see how it goes. Now, I actually did an unusual thing here. I uninstalled stuff without checking with him, because I have checked with him about things several times. And pretty much every time I ask him, do you use such and such? I get kind of a blank stare and I don't know. So this has been dragging on so long that I just felt I needed to get aggressive with it. I uninstall something that he actually needs. We'll find out what it is and get it back. Kind of a strategy that I don't like to use, but he just has too much trouble recurring. So I'm going to end it there. I thank you for watching. I hope this was useful. Catch you later. Goodbye.